Hello everybody, welcome to my reaction video for the UEFA Champions League semifinal draw, which was held on Friday. This is not a prediction video giving specific score lines for the first legs and the second legs of both fixtures, but just to give my initial thoughts and what both teams need out of their first leg meetings. The first leg of Real Madrid versus Atletico Madrid. First of all, I want to say I'm happy the draw turned out the way that it did. I did not want Real drawing Monaco or Juve this early. I think that the fact that we're going to have either Monaco or Juve into the final is a juicy prospect, and I think it's wonderful that one of those teams are going to make it. A lot of people I know did not want an all-Spanish final again. So I'm sort of salivating over the idea of Real and Atletico meeting each other again before the final. And let it be known, this is the fourth time that Real and Atletico will be meeting in the Champions League in a row in the last 4 seasons, dating back to 2014. Real and Atletico met each other twice in the final, and I believe it was once in the quarterfinals in the 2015 Champions League season. All 3 times Real defeated Atletico. That alone, I think, gives them a psychological advantage heading into this game. Atletico have a sort of hoodoo now against their city rivals. They have to overcome that hurdle of finally beating Zinedine Zidane's men. I think, though, if you look at the fact that this is going to be played across 2 legs, and you look at the fact that Atleti will be the home team in the return leg at the Calderon Stadium, I think that gives them a sort of an advantage, because the order that these games are played in matters. Real playing the first game at home instead of the second game is an enormous difference, especially in a tie between 2 teams that don't have very much separating themselves. Looking at the managers, I'm going one by one here. Managers alone, I think Simeone, I trust Simeone more than I do Zidane. He's more tactically gifted, I think, than Zidane. Zidane is still learning the ropes as a manager. I don't think Zidane's a bad manager, although he did make several mistakes yesterday in the El Clasico matchup between Real and Barca. But I do trust Simeone to manage, to steer the ship, so to speak, over the course of 2 legs that I do Zinedine Zidane. Real, of course, have the advantage of being the better team and also having the better individuals by quite some extension. It's no secret that Real, probably man per man, are probably the best team in the world, have the greatest individuals in the world than Atletico does. And for Atletico, it's going to be all about how they function as a unit in trying to force a result on the road at the Bernabeu Stadium. So I think what Atletico needs to survive this tie and advance to the final, they have to get some sort of result away from home. They don't even necessarily have to draw the game. I think they have to at least get an away goal. That would be very crucial, because if they get an away goal and they return home at the Calderon, it minimizes the pressure on them to get a result that would eventually see them through to the final. So I think that for Atletico, they need to either force a draw here on the road or at least get an away goals, and they cannot afford to lose by more than a single goal, in my opinion. For Real, I think Real wants to get this done as quickly as possible. The first leg at home, they know that it's not going to be nearly as difficult as the return leg, and I think that they will want to win by as much as possible. So I think that for Real Madrid, you would like to have at least a 2-goal cushion heading into the second fixture, and anything less than that, all bets are off the table as far as what will happen in the return leg. Real, also critical for them. They will have to look to not concede anything, but it's hard for me to imagine them not conceding at all. I don't see this being a 2-0 or a 3-0 result for Real, because whenever these 2 teams play, It's always exciting. It's always close. They know each other very well. They're rivals. Um, Two of the biggest rivals, not just in Spain, but in all of European soccer and really the world, if you think about it. Um, so I would say that for Real, you really the best thing that could happen for Real is to score early. Score early in the first leg, force Atleti to open up, to not play defensively because Atleti, they're not as defensive as Juventus, but they are a defense oriented side. So if Real gets an early goal in the first 10-15 minutes, I think that we could potentially see the floodgates open because Atleti would be forced into putting numbers forward and possibly exposing them at the back to the counter. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen. I think Atleti's going to approach this game from a very pragmatical standpoint. I think they'll be happy with a draw away from home. They'll be even happier with an away goal. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. I don't know how it's going to play out. I'm not going to give a scoreline prediction. Not until next week, right before the games start, when I make another video, my prediction video. But I would give Real Madrid the very slight advantage here because they are overall the better team. Although I think the schedule suits Atletico more. In the second, in the second semifinal, we have AS Monaco, the French side, against Juventus, an Italian side. I'm very happy one of these sides are going to the final. I think they deserve it. They're two very great teams. One is very defensively disciplined. The other is very high flair in their attacking style of play. I love watching Monaco. They're a very exciting team. I love watching Mbappe. The guy's on fire this season. I was having a conversation with somebody in my previous video about the Under-20 World Cup. I hope that he plays for France there. Should Monaco not get to the final, because I think if he does, France's under-20 youth team has a great chance to lift the trophy in South Korea. But looking at this fixture, don't assume the Juventus have this wrapped up. Monaco is going to cause them a lot of trouble. I don't think Monaco is going to approach this game the same way as Barcelona did, and I don't think Juventus is going to approach this tie the same way they did in the quarterfinals against Barca as well. I don't think Juventus are going to hunker down and we're going to see their famous BBC Bonucci, Barzagli, Chiellini back line shine, because I think Juventus is going to feel more... I think Juve is going to feel more adventurous in moving forward in their attack. I think they're going to realize, hey, we're the better team. We can beat these guys. We don't have to get a draw on the road. Why not win both legs? So I think that they're going to leave themselves exposed a little bit more than they did against Barca. I do think Monaco will score on them at least once throughout the 180 minutes across the two games. I don't think Juventus is. I think it was 9 hours plus of not having conceded a goal at this point. I'm not sure. 500 plus minutes of not having given up a goal. That's incredible. But I think that ends here. I do think they're going to concede. I would be surprised if they reach the final still with no goal in the back of their own net. But in the end, I have to give the advantage to Juventus. They are all around the more complete team. I do think that they should be considered the favorites here. I'm not sure where the first leg is played, but it sort of does not matter as much as the order of the games being played in the Atleti Real draw, because I do still expect Juventus to come through on paper, though my opinion could change on this in the next few days. So, Monaco, they need to be looked at upon with weary eyes by Allegri, because nobody thought Monaco was going to dominate Dortmund the way that they did across two legs in both games, winning 6-3 on aggregate. Now, some would say that Dortmund's bus attack affected them psychologically, it hurt their spirits, and that may be the case, but I still think Monaco would have come through anyway. Perhaps maybe by not as big of a margin as they did, but I still think they would have won that tie. I certainly didn't expect them to win both legs at home and on the road, but they did. They looked very offensively sound and dangerous. Falcao seems to have some sort of resurrection in form lately. Him and Mbappe up front look lethal. So the Juve defense is going to have another test here, and it's one I think that they will pass, but they will give up maybe a couple of goals in the process. So there you have it. Those are my initial reactions to the Champions League draw. Leave a comment below, like, subscribe. What are your reactions to it? What are your thoughts? How should both teams approach the first leg, tactically speaking? And I look forward to seeing all of your comments below. And I'm out. I'll see you guys tomorrow. I plan on making one video each day at least. From now, I wrote it down. I have a schedule and everything of what I want to talk about for this channel until the second or third week of May. I know pretty much what I want to talk about every day. So, yeah, if you have any questions about my schedule, what's coming up next on my list of what we're going to talk about on this channel, let me know, and I'll comment below what the schedule looks like for the end of May and the first couple of weeks. The end of April and the first couple of weeks for May. So, peace out, guys, and see you later.